Hey up, it's Steve from that old Yorkshire geek, and it's my Sunday news roundup live, whatever you want to call it. So before we get into all that, let's just have a bit of an intro, shall we? Right, I'm back. So, welcome to the show. It's mostly Star Wars news, as you may have guessed, because we've got Star Wars Celebration going on at the moment. Is today the last day, or are they doing one tomorrow with being Easter Monday? I don't know. I think today's the last day. I could be wrong. There it is playing in the background. Oh, there's him. I can never remember names as soon as I start these shows. Palpatine. So annoying. Anyway, welcome to the show. Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe, share the videos, and drop a comment, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed already. This will also be appearing on Rumble and Spotify and Amazon Music Podcasts and Google Podcasts tomorrow or whenever, when I can download it from YouTube. Anyway, I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links for those are in the description, as are links for my two books, Mercury Rapids, a light-hearted sci-fi action adventure, and Silent Predator, a short horror novella. They're both on Amazon, Kindle and paperback. And happy Easter, by the way. It's Easter. I've got my Easter egg, look. There we go. I've got myself a little Cadbury's Dairy Milk with caramel buttons. There we go. I've got Aidan some as well, but he says he don't want them. I bet he changes his mind. Anyway, so let's get on with the news. As I said, it's mostly Star Wars stuff with a bit of Star Trek at the end. But let's just get on with it. Links are in the description for all that stuff, by the way. For all the stories I'm going to look at. So we could be here a while. And you know what I haven't done? I haven't set up the the window. By the way, my Woman in Black is still there from Friday night. I forgot to get rid of that. I'm so disorganised. I am totally disorganised. Well, just bear with me while I sort this out. Click on properties, then click on that. Where are we? There we go. Ba-dum. There, we should be all right now. That's easy done, isn't it? Right, here we go. This is from Variety. As I said, links for all these stories in the description, so you can read along with me if you want to follow the links. Right, here we go. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy, boo, on Daisy Ridley's new Rey film, Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 and Rian Johnson's Star Wars Future, or lack of on the last two things. Anyway, here we go. After the Ahsoka panel at the Star Wars Celebration, in London, Variety spoke with Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy about some of the franchise's future installments. Kennedy was keen to talk about bringing back Daisy Ridley's Rey for a new Star Wars film, which was announced during an April 7th panel. This was Friday. By the way, every time I see Kathleen Kennedy on stage doing these celebration things, or anything basically, I just look at her and I think, I don't believe anything she says. And I did a tweet. Nobody saw me tweet because for some reason I don't think my Twitter works. But I did a tweet and I just called it Star Wars Insincere Celebration. It looked better on the page. She seems very insincere. Anyway, to me, and I know she's only got what God gave her, or maybe she's had some work done, but she just seems very tight, and her voice. Oh, it does me head in. I don't like the woman. Anyway, it was pretty. I'm sure she doesn't like me either, if she even knows I exist, which she doesn't. It was a pretty straightforward phone call, she said. I started out by just saying, hey, I think we're getting near being ready. We've been talking a lot about what we're doing in the movie space. That's executive speak, isn't it? And I said, I think we're getting close to being ready. How would you like to go to Celebration? That was really the beginning of it. She was out of her mind, excited. By the way, remember, this has been rumoured for a while, because she went to Lucasfilm, didn't she? Middle of last year or whenever. She did some Instagram or tweets or whatever, of photos of Skywalker Ranch. And people say, oh, no, it's from before. And no, apparently it wasn't. Kennedy also offered an update on Lucasfilm's collaboration with Rian Johnson, who is potentially working on a new Star Wars trilogy. Oh, he's not. Here we go. Ryan and I talk all the time, she said. I'm sure they do, if you know what I mean. He's unbelievably busy, so we're not actively involved in anything at the moment because he's doing another one of the Glass Onion movies and then God knows what else. But he really wants to step back into the space. He keeps using that word, don't you? It's a big commitment of time, so that's really on him. So there we go. Not actively involved in anything at the moment, so it's not happening. Taika Waititi is also working on a standalone film in the Star Wars universe. Kennedy gave an update on that as well. Taika is still working away, she said. He's writing the script himself, so it'll be full of jokes. He doesn't really want to bring others into that process, and I don't blame him. It'll be full of jokes, and it'll be, some of them will land. I think most of them won't, because I think he's a bit full of himself at the moment, is Taika Waititi. He used to be a good filmmaker. He still is, because he did Jojo Rabbit, and that were good. But I think he thinks he's the funniest person in the world, and he's not. He's getting a bit annoying now, to be honest. What we're going to say? But remember last time somebody tried to put jokes and stuff in a Star Wars film? The two directors, Lord and Miller, they got fired for it, didn't they? Anyway, I'm not saying they put jokes in, but they allowed the actors to ad-lib and stuff like that, didn't they? And what's his face? Don't me names. The screenwriter for Solo, the Jonathan Lawrence Kasdan didn't like that, did he? And got him fired. Where were we? All right, he's writing the script himself. He doesn't really want to bring others into that process. Ego. And I don't blame him. He has a very, very unique voice. So we want to protect that, and that's what he's doing. But we're going to make that one day. So that one's, she thinks that one's going to happen. But obviously, the book doesn't stop with Kathleen Kennedy these days, does it? It used to, didn't it? When it was George Lucas in charge, the book stopped with him. He was the man. But now it's Bob Iger. Anyway, where were we? Kennedy also fielded an inquiry about a potential second season of the series Obi-Wan Kenobi. Some fans have pushed for a follow-up adventure for Ewan McGregor's iconic Jedi. That is not an active development. Thank God, she said. She didn't say that, I said that. But I never say never, because there's always the possibility. Here we go. This is in Fairyland here. That show was so well received. Yeah, of course it was. And director Deborah Chow did such a spectacular job. Ewan McGregor really wants to do another. I'm sure he does. Everybody's all hands on deck with what we're doing right now. As you can see by what we showed everybody at the celebration, we'll turn our attention to that again, maybe down the road. Oh, we've got a chat. Bill Barclay, hello, welcome to the chat. The new Ray movie is like a Will Smith slapping the face to fans. Yeah, it is basically, isn't it? Hang on, shall we put the chat box up? There we go. See if any more pop in. I don't think this one will appear, but never mind. Anyway, where were we? Yeah, it is a bit of a slap in the face to fans. Although there are a lot of people that do like the sequel trilogy, and I do like The Force Awakens. I'll say that. To this day, I like The Force Awakens. Yes, I accept, it does have its shortcomings, a lot of them, but I still quite enjoy watching it. But the other two, Last Jedi was just terrible, and Rise of Skywalker, I said this in a video, I think it was yesterday or the day before. It wasn't yesterday, I didn't do a video yesterday. The day before, that I can't help but enjoy that film because it's so bad. It's like Plan 9 from outer space, but on the $200 million budget. It's terrible. So bad it's good. So there we go. So, what was that? Daisy Ridley's new film, Kathleen Kennedy thinks is going to happen. Obi-Wan Kenobi's not, and Rian Johnson's not. Not in active development. Any road up. There she is, hateful woman. She's awful, isn't she? She lied to George Lucas. Lied to his face. You can see it in her eyes. Put her in charge, and then what? Not long after, the company gets sold to Disney. I think she was instrumental in that. I could be wrong. It's just my own gut feeling. She enabled that. Anyway, speaking of Kathleen Kennedy, we're still on her. This is from Bounding Into Comics. Could get spicy. Kathleen Kennedy spins new narrative for Star Wars. Quality is always everything. I saw this. And I laughed out loud. I did. Honestly, I did. I laughed out loud. I sat there in my chair and I went, ha, 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 ha. Like that. I did. Bill Speaks again. Loved the Ahsoka trailer. I did. I loved it. I'm really looking forward to that. I did a video about that as well. Even though we already knew that it's kind of going to be live-action Star Wars Rebels. It is, yeah. Plus, we already saw Zeb in episode... Yes, we did, of Mandalorian. Yes, we did. Is he going to be in Ahsoka? I should imagine so. They won't have gone to all that expense to create whatever it was. If it was CG, create the CG model. Or if it were a prosthetic puppet, whatever, animatronic, what they call them these days, I don't know. Just for that one scene, they won't have done it for that. So it will be in Ahsoka, I bet. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to Ahsoka. But anyway, Kathleen Kennedy's speaking again. Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy recently put out a new spin for Star Wars while trying to hype up new films and television programmes. And there she is with Diego Luna and some other fella. Who is he? Asad Ayaz. I have no idea who that is. Speaking with IGN's Alex Steadman during Star Wars Celebration 2023, Kennedy was asked, I just want to see if there's any major hope that you want to strive for in this kind of new era of Star Wars that you just announced today. Lots of announcements on Friday. Sod all yesterday. All we get yesterday were Thrawn, which I'm going to cover. And I don't know what they're going to do today. I think so far we've seen villains today. We've seen villains of the sequel trilogy. Who's this fella? I've no idea who he is, and I hate him. Oh, not him, he's gone now. Is this that Alex Steadman chap? I don't know. But he's hysterical, and I hate him. I want to slap his face. Anyway, and I had to turn it off yesterday. I was watching it yesterday, Star Wars Celebration, and I had to turn it off at the Anthony Daniels show that came on. Oh, it was awful. It was painful to watch. I used to like him when he used to go on with Warwick Davis, or as Americans call him, Warwick. Warwick Davis. I used to like when he did his shows with them, because Warwick, could give as good as he got. And he's a comedy actor anyway. But no, that was painful yesterday. I had to turn it off. And come back later. Not that there were anything else. There were just books after that. High Republic books. Who gives us stuff? Not me. Bill Speaks again. Notice when Kathleen came on at Celebration, there were crickets. Yeah, hardly anyone reacted. Kind of same with Daisy Ridley. Only a few reacted. Yeah, that's very muted applause, wasn't it? I noticed that. They weren't going crazy like they often do. I've often said at these celebration gigs, you could hold up a tin of Spam with Star Wars written on in Sharpie, and the fans would go wild. But maybe they're cottoning on. Anyway, I forgot where I was. Kennedy replied, it's as I said, I think quality is always everything. We want to tell resonating stories that really speak to what Star Wars is. And like George, I know he's not dead, but he's spinning in his future grave, is George. Not that George was perfect by any, stretch of the imagination. But he knew his story. And it was his story, so he could do what he wanted. I don't really want it, and none of us want it to become like everything else, she concluded. We want it to be something that continues to live up to the expectation that fans have. Well, it doesn't, and that's the most important to all of us. As I said, insincere liberation. It's unclear what Kennedy actually means by quality. Is this John F. Trent, by the way? I bet it is. I forgot to check. It is. It's John F. Trent. It's unclear what Kennedy actually means by quality, quotes, given her entire tenure as president of Lucasfilm has produced objectively poor quality films and television shows. I do like some of them. I love Rogue One. I absolutely adore that film. And I will say, I'm going to keep saying, it is my favourite Star Wars film. It's an outlier in the Disney Star Wars stuff. For some reason, it really works for me anyway. There's bits in it that annoy me, as in all films. Even Empire Strikes Back, I don't think's perfect, but I love Rogue One. Anyway, the biggest black eye is the Rian Johnson director of The Last Jedi. Yep, it's terrible. The film has a poor 6.9 weighted average on IMDb. I've no idea what that means. It has an even more abysmal 42% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes, with moviegoers raising the film an average of 2.6 out of 5. It's a terrible film. Terrible film. I remember going to see it, and I came out of the pictures, cinema, whatever you call it, theatre, and I was like, I didn't know what to think about it. I was stunned. I didn't know if it was good or bad or anything. And I tried to convince myself. I saw it again, not at the picture, I only saw it once at the cinema. But when I saw it again, by other means, I tried to convince myself I enjoyed it, but I didn't really, for some reason. I kept saying, oh, it gets better on the second viewing. I was like trying to convince myself. But, I was deluded. Anyway, Star Wars isn't just getting and now I can't watch it because it just annoys me. It just annoys the hell out of me. I can't watch it. Star Wars isn't just getting negative reactions towards its feature films, but its flagship TV series, The Mandalorian, is now receiving the worst user scores it's ever received. Here we go. The most recent episode, Guns for Hire, which featured Lizzo and Jack Black, has a 6.5 weighted average on IMDb. In fact, the most recent most recent season, I don't know, hasn't just posted the worst score of the entire series, but 3 worst rated episodes of the show's entire run. I've got to be honest, I didn't mind that episode, Guns for Hire. I didn't mind Lizzo and Jack Black. I didn't even know who she was. I didn't. I saw Jack Black and thought, oh, that's Jack Black. And I thought, I bet she's famous, but I don't know who she is. Anyway, but yeah. But I didn't mind it, to be honest. Yeah, it was a bit rubbish, but I gave it an 8 out of 10 because I quite enjoyed the story. Plus, I was right. I'd been saying a few episodes ago when Mando lost his darksaber to that stupid cyborg creature and Bo-Katan used it and saved him. I was saying that she should now claim the darksaber because she won it in combat after he lost it in combat. And people I said that on Twitter and stuff, and people say, oh, no, that's not how it works. Turns out it is, and I was right. So that put the episode up a bit in my estimation. But yeah, it's not great. Season 3 is not the best season of Mando. Seasons 1 and 2 were enjoyable. They're not amazing, but they're enjoyable. They're fun. Anyway, and this is by design, despite, by the way, I'm going off on tangents, aren't I? Chapter 19, The Convert, has a weighted average of 7.1. Chapter 17, The Apostate, has a weighted average of 7.5. And this is by design, despite Kennedy's claim she's focusing on quality. Ahead of the release of The Force Awakens, Kennedy made an appearance at Fortune magazine's Most Powerful Women Summit in 2015, where she laid out her plans to fundamentally change Star Wars. And there's a video if you want to click on that to see that. During her appearance, Kennedy revealed how she quickly changed the demographics of the company once she took over. She was handed the reins, wasn't she, by George Lucas, because he decided to retire. And I bet he wishes he hadn't now. What's going on here? What's next? No idea. Kennedy said the fact that the company was bought by the Walt Disney Company. No, you sold it to him, Flower Pot. You were the catalysing force, in my opinion. The fact that the company was bought by the Walt Disney Company has been amazing because they very much support the fact that we are trying to grow in the workforce a number of women in executive positions and in all positions inside the company. I thought they wanted to do something different. Everybody's doing that, aren't they? That's not different. And all the messaging in the films, that's not different because everybody's doing that as well. Oh, pardon me. And losing money. Oh, crikey. Sorry, I've just had I say this a lot, as Jack O'Neill would say, I've just polished off a lovely brunch because it's Sunday, a Sunday brunch. So I'm going to be burping and bloody also. Let's have a drink of coffee. A drink of cold coffee, no less. Anyway, and with the movies that we are making, and with the protagonists that we are putting in the stories, so I get a huge amount of support with that, she continued. She then touted, but we have 50% of our executive team are women, and 6 out of 8 of the people in my story group are women, 6 out of 8. That's equality, isn't it? And I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be surprised that we're making Star Wars movies and the majority of the people involved in the development of those stories are women. And I think it's making a huge difference in the stories that we're trying to tell. They're not good, are they? I'm not saying that women can't tell good stories. They can. There's some amazing women writers. I'm just saying don't make them all women. The best person for the job is the best person for the job, be they male or female or whatever these days. Don't put people in positions just because of their, sex, sexuality, gender, etc. It wants to be the best person for the job. I mean, do people just go into interview? Remember, you used to go for a job interview, and they'd ask you, what can you bring to the company, and what can you bring to this position, and you try and think of something, and in my case, I just fail miserably, and just start blubbering. Well, I don't know. That's why I didn't get many jobs, and I always ended up working in, labouring and stuff like that. Low responsibility work, basically. Although I did get to be shift leader, but I was rubbish at that. Anyway, I'm waffling again. It should be, the interview should be about what somebody can bring to a job, a position, i.e. experience or intelligence or imagination, whatever, not, their gender, I'm a woman. Oh, you've got the job. Oh, I'm transgender. Oh, you've got the job. Oh, I'm, non-binary. Oh, you've got the job. Oh, I'm, not white. Oh, you've got the job. But even that's a bit vague now, isn't it? The people of colour. I'm not trying to be racist. I'm probably digging a hole for myself. But this Victoria Alonso, I've said this before in a video. She's classed as a person of colour, woman of colour. Where does that come from? She's Argentinian. Are they people of colour now? It's like saying someone from Spain is a person of colour. Argentinians are pretty much them, aren't they? Pretty much. I know there's some, as in all countries, there's a mix of, ethnic qualities, but I don't think Victoria Alonso is one of them. What do you mean, one of them? Oh, you know what I mean. On top of admitting to fundamentally changing the people who worked at the company, Kennedy also detailed the company had changed how they would market the franchise, as well as switching from primarily a boys and men franchise to women and girls. She detailed, I think, the interesting path we've had is the conversation that took place around consumer products, because there was a lot of companies that were in place who frankly didn't initially feel that Star Wars was for girls. Except it was, a lot of girls love Star Wars. But as with a lot of science fiction, it's, majority is, it's a boys' world, isn't it? And it always has been. But, not 100%. Nothing's 100%, is it? Kennedy went on, and when you have a company situation where between Lucasfilm and Disney, we were all looking at the situation saying, oh, that's an advert for Jedi Survivor. I just saw it at the corner of my eye, all this action going on. When you have a company situation where between Lucasfilm and Disney, we were all looking at the situation saying, no, with Star Wars, we have to change this. We have to make sure we create products that are, in a sense, appealing to both boys and girls. What's wrong with that? Because you're just doing it for the sake of it. Write a good story. This is like, stories written by committee. That's what it is. Executive storytelling. That's what it is, isn't it? Rather than somebody coming in saying, I've got a great idea for a story, they're saying, oh, right, okay, but we've got this list of things you've got to cover in this story. Oh, well, that'll just ruin it. Well, that's them's the chops. Despite her claim, Bill's back again. Have you covered the micro Galaxy toy line upcoming releases that were shown? No, I didn't even see that one. I didn't even see that bit. I haven't been watching it, non-stop. I've obviously been called away and doing other things, cutting the grass and the privets in the garden, etc. So I haven't seen it all. But no, I haven't seen that one, I'm afraid. Anyway, where were we? Kennedy said, hang on, I've gone wrong. Where are we? Despite her claim of wanting it to appeal to both boys and girls, when asked for an example, it was specifically focused on creating products for females. Because the force is female, isn't it? Kennedy said, I know that was for something else. Kennedy said, I mean, even with simple things like T-shirts, there's a fantastic story with this young woman who came to Lucasfilm in 2009. She plays the character of Ahsoka in both Rebels, as this Ashley Eckstein. And she also had a role in Clone Wars. She came to Lucasfilm in 2009 saying, why aren't there clothes that are tied to Star Wars for girls? And she struggled for quite a while and put a company together called Her Universe, and it's doing unbelievable business. Oh, very good. Good for her. And there she is, that's Daisy Ridley. Oh, I like Daisy Ridley. And that's Charmin Obeid Chinoy, who for a long time I thought were a fella. not I just, the name, for some reason, I must have seen it in an article, and it must have said he, or it was probably a typo or something, but ever since then, I've thought she were a fella. Anyway, apologies to her. It's highly unlikely Lucasfilm and Star Wars will start churning out higher quality products when Kennedy admitted she gutted the company's employees and decided to reshape it in her image. Not only did she reshape the company in her image, but she set about drastically altering who the franchise would appeal to. Pretty much. When Force Awakens came out, there were lots of little girls cosplaying as Rey, which is a good thing. I didn't mind that because I did enjoy the Force Awakens. But there are also a lot of Kylo Rens about. Bill, I see the guy that played Chewbacca in recent times is also playing a Jedi Wookiee in the Acolyte. Yeah, that's if that gets made. I'm still erring on the side of what Cameron Pasha said, that they've just been given money to do like a sizzle reel, and this what they're doing here at Celebration for the Acolyte, it's all like smoke and mirrors. So has it been given the go-ahead to go to series? I don't know. I say Cameron Pasha suspects not, unless all that's changed. But as I said in the previous video, just because something's announced at Star Wars Celebration doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen, does it? I mean, look at Patty Jenkins and Rogue Squadron and the Game of Thrones chaps. They got their Star Wars films, didn't they? No. Rian Johnson, etc. And all the others. Anyway, where were we? Given Kennedy is still in charge, it's unlikely her initial vision will ever be changed, and even if she's removed, if she's replaced by one of her disciples, it will be just more of the same. Or even worse, there she is. The most interesting part of Kennedy's new claim is indeed the fact that she's saying the company needs to focus on quality. Oh, excuse me, that brunch again. Where were we? A company that is actually producing high-quality products would never come out and say such things. Their product speaks for itself, and they are bragging about how good it is. Instead, Kennedy is out here implying the quality of their product is quite poor. I don't know. I won't put it that way. It depends how you look at it, doesn't it? This is a tacit or maybe even subconscious admission that under her leadership, she knows the company has produced extremely poor quality films and TV shows. I don't know. I suppose it depends how you interpret it, doesn't you? She came out and she said, we're focusing on quality. I suppose it could be a subconscious thing, a bit of a, Freudian thing, I suppose. What do you make of Kennedy's new spin for Star Wars? It's going to be terrible. Although I'm looking forward to Ahsoka. That trailer did look amazing. There he is. Oh, I'm going to wear my cowboy hat because of Dave Filoni, and I forgot. Never mind. So there we go. So she just lies. As I said, Star Wars Insane Celebration 2023 London XL. Right, staying with Star Wars, as I said. Mr. Much gurgling. No, you didn't hear that. Right, Rosario Dawson. Thank God they wrote that down because I can never remember her name. Or any name for that matter. Rosario Dawson addresses fan complaints on lengths of Ahsoka's head tails. Admits adjustments for Star Wars show. We heard, she said. Bill again. Indiana Jones trailer wasn't that bad either. I don't know. I didn't know what to make of it, to be honest. It gave me Uncharted / James Bond vibes rather than Indiana Jones, particularly with the music at the beginning. It didn't feel very Indiana Jonesy. I know it went to an orchestral music, sort of like mid-trailer, didn't it? But it didn't feel Indiana Jones to me. But it might be good. It might be good. We will see. We will see. I did a video about that. T'other day. Anyway, Rosario Dawson has spoken out over complaints some Star Wars fans have made over the length of Ahsoka's head tails, what they call leku, whatever they call them. During her live-action debut, acknowledging that their grievances were heard, because they were shorter, weren't they? We saw her in Rebels, at the end of Rebels, really long leku, but then when she popped up in Mandalorian, they were quite short. But the reason for that or something was they didn't want them long and flopping about and getting in the way, did they, when she was doing her Jedi stuff. Anyway, over Easter weekend, lovers of the franchise from around the world have made their way to London to take part in the star-studded spectacle of annual Star Wars celebration, Insincere-lebration. On the second day of the event, Rosario joined Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, who co-created Ahsoka's eponymous TV show, on the main stage to speak about what fans can expect from her next lightsaber-wielding adventure. Crikey. At one point, the Daredevil star, she played the nurse, didn't she, in Daredevil, opened up about her physical transformation for the character. By the way, she did a nude scene in Alexander, didn't she? Very impressive. At one point, the Daredevil star opened up about her physical transformation for the character, who was first introduced in the animated film Star Wars Clone Wars as the Jedi Padawan of Anakin Skywalker. Rosario had to endure hours of makeup, but the head tails, leku, it says there, that Ahsoka has as a member of the Togruta species, which are called leku, sparked debate among Star Wars aficionados when she made her live-action debut in The Mandalorian Season 2. In Star Wars lore, it's understood that the leku of members of the Togruta species are supposed to grow with age, so many felt that the length of Ahsoka's head tails weren't reflective of her maturity at that point in the Star Wars timeline. Explaining how Ahsoka's appearance has evolved since The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett for her own show, Rosario explained that the technology literally didn't exist when it came to the new way they've created the protagonist leku. It's been remarkable going from the different shows to where we are now. The technology literally didn't exist. They created it. It's basically a skin over a 3D printed skeleton inside that moves, she outlined. People will be really excited just to see all the pieces and everything developed to get to this point. It's really seamless and quite beautiful. Anyway. The 43-year-old then added that they'd heard the fans' complaints about Ahsoka's head tails being too short, loud and proud, with the teaser for the show appearing to confirm that they have been made longer as a result. The leku were originally made with a foam and were heavier and more challenging to work with. And they did look like foam when you saw them in Mandalorian. They didn't look very good, in my opinion. They were more challenging to work with, she said, which is why they had to adjust certain things. Also at the panel, Dave confirmed that Doctor Who legend David Tennant will be returning to the world of Star Wars as the droid Huyang, who he first voiced over a decade ago in the animated show The Clone Wars. Describing the actor as a privilege to work with and a joy, the co-creator of Ahsoka said he makes it all work. Ahsoka is due to air in August. There we go. Where were we? Bill says again. The one Star Wars movie that intrigues me is that one that's set 25,000 years in the past. Is that the James Mangold one? I think it is, isn't it? Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really bothered about any of them, to be honest. The movies. The only thing that's excited me is the Ahsoka trailer, because that looked really good. Particularly Ray Stevenson. I can't wait to see him. I like Ray Stevenson. He was good in Black Sails as Blackbeard the Pirate. He was good at that. Anyway. Right, let's move on. Star Wars. Still, Thrawn actor breaks silence on live-action casting announcement. There we go. Everybody said it were going to be Lars Mikkelsen. Lars Mikkelsen kept saying, no, it's not me. They haven't even been in touch with me. They were obviously lying. Star Wars live-action Thrawn star has commented on being cast in Ahsoka for Disney+. The question of who Lucasfilm cast as the fan favourite villain has long been one of Ahsoka's biggest mysteries and a major topic of speculation amongst fans. For months, the top rumoured candidate was Lars Mikkelsen. However, the actor himself had debunked such claims. Yeah, fibbing. They just fib. Because they're professional fibbers. Finally, at Star Wars Celebration's Ahsoka panel, Lucasfilm's Thrawn star was officially confirmed, allowing the actor to finally break his silence and address the fans. And it was quite a good panel, that, I must admit. I quite liked it. And it did actually seem quite emotional and moved by the fans' reaction to him. After Lucasfilm confirmed Lars Mikkelsen is in fact playing Grand Admiral Thrawn in Ahsoka, the actor was finally able to talk about his live-action Star Wars role after having publicly denied it. I wonder if he's actually... Do you think he's actually playing him, though? Or is he just doing the voice and they've got, like, somebody else in to play him? Or is it a CG character? I don't know. But because we've only seen him from behind, haven't we, in that trailer? We will see. As shared via Popverse, Mikkelsen responded to the crowd saying, "It's wonderful to be back and thank you so much, thank you so much." Mikkelsen voiced Grand Admiral Thrawn in the Star Wars Rebels animated series and recounted how after finishing up that series, he was asked if he had ever been to LA. "It was obviously we met through Skype. We did all the sessions on Rebels on Skype, and at some point, finishing up that series, David asked me if I'd ever been to LA. As for his on-set experience with Ahsoka, Mikkelsen confessed I'd never been on set with such passion." So they filmed it in LA, did they? Oh, they usually film them in Britain, don't they? But never mind. "I've never been on set with such passion. People are so passionate about bringing this to life for you guys." And Bill again. Both Mikkelsens have been in Star Wars. Yes, they have. Obviously, Mads played Galen Erso in Rogue One, didn't he? And I liked that as well. You know, I liked his character of Galen Erso, who put the fault in the Death Star. Yeah, and it wasn't an accident, it was deliberate. Dave Filoni then commented on Thrawn's popularity, saying it all starts with Tim Zahn's books and how it was so shocking at the time. There wasn't content all the time like there is today. The Ahsoka showrunner likened Thrawn as Moriarty and Rommel all in one. That was so compelling to read. Obviously, Moriarty is the Sherlock Holmes, nemesis, and Rommel is the Desert Fox, the German field marshal, most famous for the North Africa campaign, fighting Field Marshal Montgomery, and losing at the Battle of El Alamein. Anyway, lastly, Filoni confirmed that he spoke with Timothy Zahn about bringing Thrawn to live action, confessing that we wanted to make sure that we get it right. Check out Mikkelsen taking the stage at Star Wars Celebration's Ahsoka panel below. There he is. I wonder if he gets a loud cheer. Shall we play it and see what happens? And he seems a nice fella. In light of this Star Wars Celebration reveal, there's no denying Lars Mikkelsen proved his acting chops by denying his Ahsoka role for so long and so convincingly. Yeah. Still, he's far from the first. Just last year, the Phantom Menace's Liam Neeson claimed he hadn't been approached to return as Qui-Gon Jinn or Obi-Wan Kenobi, only to then appear as a surprise cameo by the series' end. It was terrible, though, wasn't it? It seems that... and don't forget, there's... I forgot his name. The Spider-Man actor, Andrew Garfield. There were rumours that he was going to be in the Star Wars, wasn't there? Well, it was supposed to be Rise of Skywalker or something like that. And it never happened. And what happened to... were he in it? Oh, no, he was in it, wasn't he? Never mind. The other fella. I forgot his name. You know what I'm like with names. It seems that playing a fan-favourite Star Wars character requires a little acting both on and off the set, and even once marketing has begun. For instance, a day prior to Mikkelsen's confirmation, Star Wars released its first teaser for Ahsoka, offering a first look at Thrawn. However, the footage only showed the actor from behind, keeping his identity a secret until Star Wars Celebration's Ahsoka panel. Oh, crikey, that brunch is repeating on me. Those in attendance reportedly saw an exclusive version of the Ahsoka teaser, one that fully revealed Mikkelsen, as the blue-skinned, red-eyed Chiss Imperial. But for now, it appears the rest of the world will have to wait a little longer to see the actor in full Thrawn makeup. Ahsoka arrives August 2023, blah, blah, blah. We saw a hologram of Ezra Bridger in the Ahsoka trailer. Yes, well, I saw that when I did the Ahsoka, my reaction to it or whatever. I did say it when it showed that it was Sabine looking at it. I thought, is that Ezra Bridger? And it wasn't really confirmed, was it? I don't think, but it looked like him, didn't it? It looked like him to me anyway. It's most likely to be Ezra, isn't it? That's it. There we go. That's it. Oh, look, Skeleton Crew. There's supposed to be a trailer for that, isn't there? Oh, my first trailer released. But it's not been released publicly, has it? Like the Acolyte trailer's not on YouTube yet, is it? Is it? I don't know. Shall we have a look? Let's have a look. Because I don't think they are. Acolyte trailer. Try that. No, it's just showing ones that people have videoed. Oh, that's 10 months ago. That put them in order. Today we'll put for today. No, still no Acolyte trailer. Oh, and there's a shot there of. Hang on. Just let me get this. There was actually a shot there. I'll move this so you can see it. Where are we? How do I do this now? Go on, get in there. Go on, I'm trying to add you to this. Hang on, I'm doing it wrong because I'm an idiot. No, I'm not. There we go. Whew. Right. Somewhere in here, there's a shot of Lars Mikkelsen as Thrawn. I saw it, honest, I did. So I'm trying to find it now. Did I miss it? Come on, I saw you. Is it fibbing? I'm sure I saw it on the thumbnail. It's not showing it now, is it? I don't know, just play this person's whole video, whoever it is. There's too much gurgling again, that brunch. That blooming brunch. It's probably in here somewhere.
But Thrawn didn't really have anything to do.
Oh, it's emergency awesome. Shut him up. Obviously, that's from Rebels, isn't it? That's from the books. Come on, show us. That is a Bridger. There we go. What we're just talking about. Don't know who that character is with the twin lightsaber. Oh, gurgling. What's the latest Mandalorian shown at Celebration? Ep show. Oh, right. I don't know. What it? I don't know. Come on, show. Oh, there we go. Is it going to show him? That's obviously what we saw in the Ahsoka trailer from behind. It's going to show him from the front. Come on. Reveal him. You're not bloody going to, are you? No. Because it shows. Hang on, Steve. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. See, there. In the thumbnail, it shows it. So is that what they saw at Star Wars Celebration? Don't look very much like Thrawn, does it? Not at least not from Rebels. He had more like weird eyebrows and stuff, didn't he? But anyway, whatever. Right, where were we? Is that it? Have we done? Have we read all that now? Yes, it is. We've read all that now, so we can move on. But I don't know if the latest episode of The Mandalorian was shown at Celebration. I don't know. I won't be surprised. I mean, it's nearly finished now, hasn't it? We haven't seen Giancarlo whatever he's called yet, have we? Is he going to appear in it at some point? Anyway, the Acolyte. Right, Star Wars The Acolyte cast share details on mysterious High Republic Jedi. And there's the logo. They've changed it a bit, haven't they? Quite a lot, actually. I saw that thumbnail too. It kind of looks like a blue date. Yes, it does. Like a blue date. It does. Anyway, upcoming Star Wars series, The Acolyte, slated to premiere on Disney Plus in 2024. We'll see. It's set in the High Republic era, a period yet to feature within the live-action Star Wars universe. Hang on, you can't see all that, can you? There we go. Move it over a bit. Taking place some 100 years before the events of The Phantom Menace, it will take us back into the past during a time of relative peace when the Jedi were plentiful, but will also chart the rise of the dark side. Well, there's always been a dark side, hasn't there? You know, because Knights of the Old Republic were set thousands of years in the past, and they were like dark Jedi. Well, I don't know, dark Force users then, weren't they? I don't know what the Sith. There was Sith, weren't there? Yeah, because they were Darth. What's his face? Star Wars Celebration 2023 gave audiences their first glimpse at the show, which is due to wrap shooting this May, and it revealed a host of characters, many of them Jedi, that we know little about. Wrap shooting this May, so they're doing the entire series. I mean, they only started shooting recently, didn't they? They're going to do, so it's like a really limited series of, you know, a handful of episodes, or what? I don't know. I'm wondering if Cameron Pasha's right, and they're just being given money to just do like a pilot episode, or you know, like an extended sizzle reel or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, it revealed a host of characters, many of them Jedi, that we know little about. Yahoo UK spoke to the cast and showrunner following the Star Wars showcase, in which it was presented to find out more about the mysterious Jedi. In particular, the intriguing Jedi Master, played by Squid Game's Lee Jung-jae, probably pronouncing that wrong. Lee says that his character explores a lot of different emotions, adding that this Jedi has experienced a lot. Showrunner and creator Leslie Headland, boo. I don't know, something about her. I think that people have this conception of the Jedi as a very stoic with and without emotion. And I think what JJ, Lee Jung-jae, don't come JJ getting mixed up with Abrams, won't you? Or Jar Jar, brings to this particular role is an emotional complexity that you don't often get to see with Jedi. You do see it with some characters, but I think what he's done is astonishing, and I can't wait for the world to see it. We see lots of emotional Jedi. This silly woman. I mean, Qui-Gon, he were always emotional, wasn't he? Even though he was quite analytical, but, you know, he stuck to his guns and he was quite emotional. Anakin, obviously. And others, you know, we've seen them, haven't we, being emotional. Because that's what Jedi are. They are emotional. They trust their feelings and all that. Anyway, Manny Giacinto, apologies, who starred in Top Gun Maverick and The Good Place, says his own character is a good guy. I should hope so. If it's a Jedi, if they're still talking about Jedis, I don't know. He's a citizen of the galaxy, just minding his own business, having a good time. That's what bloody Jango Fett said, didn't he? Then he gets wrapped up in this whole story within the High Republic and the Jedi. Wish someone called it the High Republic. I bet it was just called the Republic. You know, the Times maybe called the High Republic. It's like during the Victorian era, the people living at the time didn't call it, we're living in the Victorian era. Anyway, whatever. Of Lee Jung-jae's character, he said, he has this aura about him, especially in his voice, that makes you want to listen to everything he says. He's like the perfect Jedi Master because of posture, his traits, his voice, his demeanour. As a Jedi, he is a leader, end of, and a badass, said Charlie Barnett, who also plays a Jedi Knight in the series. I'm human. Good for him. Rebecca Henderson, whose character revealed to be a fan favourite Vernestra Rowe. Fan favourite? Why should be fan favourite? I don't get it. Maybe they're in the books. I don't know. Is a very powerful elder Jedi Master, and Miri Allen. She's a near-human species of alien. I hate when they say that in Star Wars, near-human. It's kind of racist, isn't it? Oh, dear. I had a powerfully simple comment to make on the kind of Jedi Lee Jung-jae makes. It's like calling Spock a near-human. And when in Star Trek, saying, you know, this is Commander Spock, he is a near-human. Spock would like raise an eyebrow, wouldn't he? That. Anyway, He's the best kind of Jedi. He's just so Jedi. When you just see it, you know it, she said. Both Amanda Stenberg, who says that her character is mad and good with knives, and Jonas Suatamo, who plays a Wookiee Jedi that is worlds away from the smuggling business of Chewbacca, describes the series as a mystery thriller. Headland said of the 8-episode series, there are a lot of surprises because the show isn't tied to any legacy characters and it isn't part of the Skywalker saga. Wasn't it rumoured that Yoda were going to be in it? I'm sure it was. So there is a legacy character in it, if he's in it. There's definitely a lot of left turns that we can take, and we can do a lot of things and have a lot of freedom. Of course, there are other things that would step on canon that we don't do, but you're definitely going to be in for a ride. And a weekly experience. Each episode will feel a little bit like its own movie, chock full of characters, chock full of mystery, incredible performances by the cast, and not just dramatic performances and emotional performances, but the action performances too. This is from the woman that, when she was asked what her favourite Star Wars was, she said, I like all the Star Wars. The Star Wars. For God's sake. The showrunner described the series as Kill Bill meets Frozen. Let it snow, MFer. But what does that mean? I know that Kill Bill, wasn't it? I'm thinking of Pulp Fiction. But there's probably some MFers in it, aren't there? Yeah, because I think Lucy Liu said it, didn't she? Anyway, Manager Kinto explained, I think there's just some really cool fights. You think? We had the great stunt team who put their heart and soul into it, and I hope that we can rise to the insane abilities in Kill Bill. But I've had some sneak peeks, and I've been blown away as a fan too. I know that I'm astonished at what's coming out so far. So they keep mentioning Kill Bill, so does that mean that is it Amanda Stenberg or whatever? She's going to be in a fight, like the Crazy 88 fight. There's going to be something like that in this, is there? I bet it is. I bet that's what it means. What about the Frozen part? Family, say no more. And talking snowmen, probably. I mean, they had talking rocks in the High Republic, didn't they? There we go. Star Wars Acolyte will stream on Disney Plus in 2024. Or will it? Who knows? Go away, pop-ups. Anyway, let's move on. We're still on Star Wars. What's happening on here, by the way? Who's that? I can't make out from here. Is it... yes, it's Ian McDermott. Roll it again. Yeah, there he is. And, the redhead. Don't know her name, but for some reason I kind of like her, because I don't know, I like redheads. Anyway, even though I married one, but less said about that the better. Hope she's not watching. I doubt it, nobody is. Star Wars Tales of the Jedi Season 2 announced by Dave Filoni. I wish I put my cowboy hat on. Never mind. Get ready for more Tales of the Jedi, as Dave Filoni announced at Star Wars Celebration's panel for the 15th anniversary of Star Wars The Clone Wars. A second season of Star Wars Tales of the Jedi has been ordered for Disney+. I really enjoyed Season 1. I thought that was great. I did. And there's the poster for the first season. Yeah. Star Wars Tales of the Jedi premiered on the streaming service last fall. I like the Fall of Dooku episodes. That were good. They were good. Anyway, Star Wars Tales of the Jedi premiered on the streaming service last fall and consisted... That's autumn, and consisted of 6 episodes that explored the lives of Count Dooku and Ahsoka Tano. For Dooku's episodes, his time with the Jedi Order was explored with how he began to be seduced by the dark side. Well, we also saw what happened with, I forgot her name, Yaddle, didn't we? Anyway, it was seduced by the dark side, while Ahsoka's early life was fleshed out as well as some of the years after her survival from Order 66, including a run-in with an Inquisitor. That what we saw in that Ahsoka trailer looked like an Inquisitor, but it can't have been. Wrong timeline, isn't it, for Inquisitors to be about? But anyway, well, this is a flashback for all, I don't know. Tales of the Jedi was so fun for the first time, I decided to do some more, he said to the large crowd. Filoni, who was also announced as directing a Star Wars movie at Celebration this weekend, I must admit, although I'm not a huge fan of Dave Filoni, I do like the way he interprets Star Wars, and I do like. I'm quite looking forward to his Mandalorian timeline movie because it's going to be set in that era, isn't it? So I'm kind of looking forward to that. But anyway, but I think in this season of the Mandalorian, he's kind of elbowed out Jon Favreau. It looks like that way to me, anyway. I think Jon Favreau's just rattling off scripts. Technically, Jon Favreau still, owns the characters and all that, and is probably contracted to write certain amount of scripts. And I think he's just rattling them off and sending them. Here we go. I've written that in an afternoon. Go make that. And if you want any input on it, it's too late. I'm busy. Anyway, is doing another movie. Is always notoriously coy about his projects and didn't say which Jedi or time frame would be the focus in season 2. Featuring in the voice cast of Star Wars Tales of the Jedi are Ashley Eckstein, or is it Eckstein? I don't know. Eckstein, we'll say, as Ahsoka Tano, Matt Lanter as Anakin Skywalker, Janina Gavankar. Oh, there we go. That's her name I was trying to remember the other day. You probably didn't see it. I did a video the other day and I was talking about, they're saying who could appear in stuff. And I was saying, what about her that were in the Star Wars Battlefront 2? And I couldn't remember her name. That's Janina Gavankar. As Ahsoka's mother, Pavti, Liam Neeson as Qui-Gon Jinn, and Michael Richardson as young Qui-Gon. There we go. Oh, that's it. So we're going to get Tales of the Jedi Season 2, which I'm looking forward to because I liked Season 1. Couldn't give a monkeys about Visions. Stomach's at it again. Couldn't give a monkeys about Star Wars Visions. I didn't even see Season 1. I tried to watch it, but I'm not a big fan of anime. I'm sorry, I'm just not. Right, last Star Wars story. Return of the Jedi's 40th anniversary panel had fond memories and funny stories. Billy D. Williams, Ian McDiarmid, Warwick Davis, and Anthony Daniels celebrated the third Star Wars film. And why does that remind me of Christmas? I don't know. It looks very Christmassy, doesn't it? Anyway, so I'm going to have to move this again now, aren't I? Tell you. There we go. Scary teddy bears. Emperor Palpatine himself, Ian McDiarmid, said, "The end of Palpatine, the iconic actor behind Star Wars' greatest villain." I don't know, I thought Darth Vader was Star Wars' greatest villain. Was one of 4 actors to appear in the 40th anniversary panel for Return of the Jedi at Star Wars Celebration 2023. McDiarmid was joined by Lando Calrissian's Billy D. Williams. Am I the only one who were kind of sad when Billy D. Williams were on stage? We saw him a couple of times at this, and he did another talk with somebody else by himself, and I thought it was quite sad, to be honest, because he didn't seem to realise what was going on half the time. He didn't even know the name of his own book, his autobiography. But whatever, it was nice to see him, but it was kind of sad as well. Hang on, we've got somebody saying something. Word 789. Where is Star Wars Celebration held this year? It's in London, at the XL Arena in London. And I think today is the last day, I think. But yes, it's in London this year. Where were we? Billy D. Williams. Wicket the Ewoks, Warwick Davis, or as Ming-Na Wen kept calling it, Warwick. And C-3PO's Anthony Daniels, who I hate. I can't stand him. He's a horrible man. It was moderated by Fennec Shanda herself, Ming-Na Wen, who is amazing. I love Ming-Na Wen. Or if you want to call her by first name, it's Wen, by the way. Though the actors were only on stage for half of the panel, The rest was modern Star Wars creators Rob Bredo, Neil Scanlon, and Doug Chang talking about how Jedi influenced them. They provided plenty of excellent insights and stories. For example, Daniels talked about how the first scene shot for the movie was on a stage in the UK, and it was supposed to be the heroes getting on the Millennium Falcon in the desert. However, the sand was so messy on the stage, shooting was incredibly difficult. And even when they did get the shots, they were cut, and there's a scene of that. Yeah, there's supposed to be a scene at the beginning, wasn't there, with Luke making another lightsaber and showing him on Tatooine, and there's supposed to be a sandstorm going on, wasn't there? But that's obviously, from that time. Anthony Daniels, very arrogant and self-up. Yeah, he is. Is it a character he puts on for stage? I don't know. Maybe he's lovely in real life. I don't know. But he used to do a thing with Warwick Davis, didn't he? They did a double act. They used to bounce off each other and banter. And that were good. But this that he did yesterday, it were painful. I had to turn it off. I couldn't watch it. It were awful. Anyway, Warwick Davis, legend, shared that part of the reason why Wicket stood out among the Ewoks. By the way, I've got a photo with him. I should have had it ready, shouldn't I, to show you? I'm going to see if I can find it. See if I can find my photo of Warwick Davis. With me and Warwick Davis, rubbing shoulders with the great and near great. I don't know where it'll be. It could be anywhere. There's no... I'll be here forever trying to find it. I will. Oh, never mind. Don't matter. Anyway, where were we? Warwick Davis shared that part of the reason why Wicket stood out among the Ewoks is that most of the actors playing them were much older. He was 11 years old at the time. By the way, it was supposed to be Kenny Baker that was supposed to play Wicket originally, but he got poorly, so they got Warwick in. And the rest is history. He was 11 years old at the time, so he was always raring to go and had tons of extra energy. Plus the fact he could pass his tongue through the suit made the character much more enduring. Yes, I suppose so. I don't know. McDermott joked how he never thought he'd come back from the dead, referring to the rise of Skywalker, rise of Palpatine, especially after the way they filmed his character's death scenes. Because he needed to fall down the Death Star's shaft, the actor was on a harness and pulled up at rapid speed, which would then be flipped in post-production. He said the biggest problem with it was the actor Dave Prowse, the late great Dave Prowse, who played Darth Vader. Dave Prowse, MBE. I think it's MBE. Anyway. He was very proud of his medal he got off the Queen, because we got an autograph from him at a convention, and he was telling my son all about it. Anyway, who played Darth Vader, had trouble catching his feet, which made the toss look believable. He also mentioned that it was never quite set what Palpatine's voice was going to be, but once he saw how he looked, he got it. Ian McDermott said if the character looked disgusting, he should sound disgusting. He described the result as a voice on the vomit, which gradually mellowed from there. And he was quite young when he originally played Palpatine, wasn't he? Well, Ian McDermott in 1980. Well, it had been filmed in 82. I don't know how old it'll be. Let's have a look. Let's look it up. When was Ian McDermott born? Let's have a look. Ian Mc... Oh, God, I've got to spell. There we go. Ian McDermott. He was born in... Where were we? 1944. Right. So in 1982, he'll have been 38. 44, 54, 64, 74. Yes. So he was 38 when he played Palpatine first. So that was lucky, really, wasn't it, for... what happened then? It's my phone making noises. So they were lucky then to get a young actor to play Palpatine that could play the younger, older Palpatine later, couldn't they? Which was lucky. There we go. Word 789 says McDermott thought he'd never return. Me neither. Well, no. Because, he was vaporised. You thought he'd been vaporised in the Death Star explosion, wouldn't you? But he wasn't, though. If you watch Robot Chicken, he just landed at the bottom and got swept up by that fella, didn't he? I love Robot Chicken. You can't watch Star Wars again without laughing and thinking of Robot Chicken if you've seen it. Damn them. Where were we? As for Billy D. Williams, he wasn't able to share much as the actor is obviously not well. Like I say, we're quite sad. But still got a laugh when asked about his experiences hanging upside down in the Sarlacc pit sequence. It was very uncomfortable. Also, it was announced that Return of the Jedi will return to select theatres on April 28th. Here's a poster to mark the occasion by Matt Ferguson. There we go. A very nice poster. Very good. I like Return of the Jedi. Some people, rag on it, but it had the best space battle, really until Rogue One, the Battle of Scarif. Up until then, the Battle of Endor were the best space battles put on film, in my opinion. Is that it? Oh, that's it for that one. There we go. So that's all the news from Star Wars Celebration, unless something else has happened. So we have a look. I'll just check and make sure nothing new's happened. Word 789 says Boba Fett escaping in Robot Chicken is still my canon version. Yep. Come flying out, doesn't he? Anyway, I'm just checking my sci-fi news list, see if anything's popped up. But there don't seem to be anything new. Nah. On what so far today? Oh, she's there again. Look, is Gwendolyn Christie, who's got a terrible laugh. She's like a witch's laugh. She were on earlier on with some of the villains of the sequel trilogy, but I don't think there's been any announcements yet. I don't think. I could be wrong. But no, I can't see anything. So we'll move on. I liked everything about Return of the Jedi except the Ewoks. They were the they were the weak point, weren't they? I think it was just the way they looked, because they looked like little fellas in suits, didn't they? And you could almost see the zips going up the back, and some of the patterns on them looked very, fake, basically. But it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. But it's still the best space battle, and it's a cool film. I like it. Robert My Burnett hates it, doesn't he? Famously hates Return of the Jedi, and this must be the Christmas version. It just reminds me of Christmas. Right, we're moving on. Star Trek news now. Well, it's not news, it's just Star Trek articles. I think they're both... Oh, no, they're not. I think they're both from Screen Rant, but they're not. Picard's Jack Crusher mystery hints at Star Trek Deep Space Nine theory. I've been saying this for ages. Everyone just laughs at me. Every time I have a theory, people just laugh at me. And then I'm right. Jack Crusher's red eyes and troubling visions in Star Trek Picard Season 3 could be the work of non-changeling DS9 villains, the Par-Wraiths. I need a drink. My son is moving about upstairs. He's going to come thundering down any moment. And there's Jack Crusher with his red eyes, and also for reference, you can't see, can you? Hang on, there we go. There's Gul Dukat when he was taken over by the Par-Wraiths in Deep Space Nine. The Par-Wraiths like the evil version of the wormhole aliens. Hello, princess. That's just my cat coming past. Right, warning, spoilers for Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 8, Surrender. Right, here we go. I've got to move that a little bit more. There we go. The source of the mysterious powers manifested by Jack Crusher, Ed Spaliers in Star Trek Picard Season 3. By the way, I've seen lots of articles about Star Trek Picard. I haven't seen a single one about Star Trek Starfleet Academy, which were announced on April the 1st, I think. Maybe it was a joke. Anyway. Season 3 could be explained by a Star Trek Deep Space Nine villain that isn't a changeling. In Picard Season 3, Episode 8, Surrender, Jack affirms that he's not a changeling as previously suspected. Looks like me in the morning. Oh, Goldie Cat. I look like that all the time. Suggesting there's another explanation for these strange visions and the voices that he's hearing. Captain Vaddy, Commander Plummer, revealed that the changelings wanted Jack for his gifts, so they clearly need an assassin with the ability to control the minds of others for their Frontier Day plan. In Star Trek Picard Season 3, Episode 7, Vadik implied that Jack had some higher purpose to fulfill, saying that he was never meant for his mother, Dr. Beverly Crusher Gates McFadden. As Picard Season 3 is also a sequel to Star Trek Deep Space Nine, it's been speculated that this larger galactic purpose could be related to the wormhole aliens, the prophets of Bajor, and their enemies. Oh, pardon me, sorry. And their enemies, the demonic power wraiths. Deanna Troi, Marina Sirtis, refers to the voice inside Jack as ancient and weak, making it possible that Jack is under the influence of the ancient power wraiths, whom the changelings hope to unleash against the Federation. But they've been trapped in the fire caves, haven't they? Or something. They got ejected from the wormhole, didn't they? When Cisco found that the orb of time, or the orb of whatever. And they got ejected from the wormhole, opening up the wormhole again, because the wormhole collapsed, didn't it? And then at the end, they were trapped again in the fire caves on Bajor, when Kai Wynn and Gul Dukat tried to release them, and then Cisco went and sorted it all out. They did a bit of Lord of the Rings. They both went into the flames, did Cisco and Gul Dukat. And Cisco ended up with the prophets. Anyway, here's Jack Crusher's mystery voice at Star Trek DS9 Power Wraith, and there's Jake Cisco when he was possessed by the Power Wraiths. Jack Crusher's eyes also go red when he manifests his special abilities, implying that another consciousness had taken over his body, similar to how Gul Dukat, Mark Alemo, would also have red eyes while under the influence of the Power Wraiths in Deep Space Nine. As the last conflict between the Prophets and the Power Wraiths took place during the Dominion War, it would make sense for a new conflict to manifest during Star Trek Picard's Changeling Uprising. In Star Trek Deep Space Nine Season 6, Episode 21, The Reckoning, a Power Wraith took over the body of Jake Cisco. I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it? I think it's Cyric, isn't it? Cyrical often. I think that's how I pronounce it. There's also a precedent for the Prophet's enemies weaponizing the sons of legendary Starfleet captains. The theory that Jack Crusher's powers come from the influence of a Power Wraith is further enhanced by Troi sensing something ancient and weak, the colour red, and the images of devastation that Jack sees back up the theory that he's under the influence of the Bajoran fire spirits. However, there's been no evidence to explain how Jack Crusher would have first been exposed to the influence of the Power Wraiths, as Captain Benjamin Sisko Avery Brooks sacrificed his life, there we go, to seal them within the Bajoran fire caves forever. I don't know. Right, and there's when Gul Dukat disguised himself as a Bajoran to seduce Kai Wynn, played by the late great what's her face? Oh god, me and names. No, it's gone. I'm hopeless. Ancient Bajoran text. Oh, it came then. I saw the name. It flashed straight up in front of my face, and then just me and bloody names. Louise Fletcher. I've just seen it down there. Louise Fletcher. There we go. The late great Louise Fletcher. Ancient Bajoran texts tell of how the Power Wraiths were expelled from the Celestial Temple for some unknown reason. The Celestial Temple being the wormhole, the Bajoran wormhole, and were subsequently banished to the Bajoran fire caves. The Power Wraiths could induce visions, such as the ones that Jack Crusher is experiencing in Star Trek Picard Season 3, and took the form of fire spirits. During the Dominion War, Gul Dukat unleashed a Power Wraith aboard Deep Space Nine, which killed off Jadzia Dax, Terry Farrell, and sealed the wormhole, triggering a celestial war with the Prophets. Gul Dukat and the Power Wraiths then set about derailing Sisko's mission from the Prophets and destabilising Bajoran society via seducing and misleading Kai Wynn, Louise Fletcher. Fighting a war on two fronts, Captain Benjamin Sisko oversaw the surrender of the Dominion before confronting Gul Dukat in the fire caves underneath Bajor, giving his life to ensure the Power Wraith's continued exile. Those under the influence of the Par-Wraith, like Jake Sisko, noted feelings of overwhelming darkness while under their influence. It's possible that this is the same darkness that Troy sensed around and flowing through Jack Crusher, meaning that both Troy and Jack could step through the Red Door into an ancient Bajoran religious conflict in Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 9. So there we go. Yes, that's interesting. But why do they want Picard's body? They wanted Picard's actual body, didn't they? And they took portions of his brain that had to do with the Irumodic syndrome, which may have been misdiagnosed. I don't know. All will be revealed, I should imagine. I hope so. Anyway, in the final 2 episodes. Right, and finally, last story. Crikey, it's gone on today, hasn't it? Picard again. Nobody's talking about Starfleet Academy. You know why? Because nobody wants to see the bugger. That's why. Picard just ended one of the most controversial Star Trek debates of all time. Yes, controversial to me. I get really angry. When the Enterprise appeared in the original Star Trek series, one of the ship's most iconic features was the view screen on the bridge. That continued into the Next Generation, when the screen got even bigger, and according to production notes was theoretically enabled with holographic capabilities. Well, I think it was supposed to be, because they showed it sometimes from different angles, and the view of whatever were on the screen, the angle changed, didn't it? As though it wasn't just a flat image. It was though it were like you were looking into whatever were on the screen. Anyway. Except, was it actually a screen or a window with a holographic overlay? That debate, which has raged for decades, has now been ended. Well, it was a screen. Because they did away with it altogether in, was it in First Contact? I think it was Star Trek First Contact. We saw the Enterprise E. I think it was E, or Insurrection. I think it was First Contact. I can't remember. Anyway, one of them. The Enterprise E didn't even have a screen, and it sort of like had a holographic screen that appeared in front of a blank wall, and that was the screen. Anyway, but they did away with that, and they had a screen for the next film. Right, where were we? In Star Trek Picard's 8th episode of Season 3, the show made it absolutely clear whether it's a window or a screen on the bridge of the Titan, and they did it by opening up the USS Titan's hull. Take a look down here. There we go, there we see. There it is opening up to the Titan. The glorious USS Titan. There we see it opening up. It's not a window. And here's what it looks like from the inside. So there you see that's some sort of red alert thing going on. There's Jack and 7 of 9 inside a force field. I called it a shield, didn't I? Like a portable shield, but they're force fields, don't they? Inside a force field bubble. And then that's the spoilers, the demise of Vadik and her lieutenant. They get blown out. They don't get sucked out. They get blown out into space. And that is the end of her. After she drops an F-bomb. As you can see in the above shots, the spot where the bridge screen should be opened up to empty space, but it wasn't a window that got rolled down. Rather, it was a solid section of the hull that opened up. That's right, hull. There's a solid piece of hull behind the view screen, a piece of the hull that can apparently be opened like a pair of shutters when needed in an emergency. I mean, the only time they talked about the emergency hatch on the bridge, and I was thinking, when I did my review, which you can watch on my channel, of the latest episode, I had to think about it, and the only other time I can remember there being an emergency hatch is it's on the USS Silkovsky in the first season episode of Next Generation Naked Now, where it shows the hatch. The crew had lost their marbles and opened the emergency hatch on the bridge and blew themselves out into space. Now, the only other time, maybe, I never checked, but maybe there's a mention of it in Generations after the Enterprise D saucer section crashes on Viridian 3. Vorstoja Viridian. I always remember that. Crashed on Viridian 3. And maybe there's a mention there that an emergency hatch. I can't remember. Or maybe we see it. I don't know. But whatever. I don't think they were behind the view screen. Anyway. But anyway, there we see. It's opening up. It's behind the view screen. That's right. Hull. A piece of the hull which can be opened like a pair of shutters when needed in an emergency. Why would a ship need this feature? Lots of reasons. If the view screen malfunctions, if the view screen malfunctions, and you actually do need a window in order to see where you're going, this plus an active force field would give you that. It's also a quick way to evacuate the ship should it end up on the ground after a crash. Yeah. The whole window versus bridge screen debate wasn't even really a thing until 2009. Before that, everyone accepted that Star Trek starships use screens placed against a blank piece of hull. A window wouldn't have made sense since the bridge is the most important part of a starship. But why did they stick it at the top there? On deck 1. You'd think if it was most important to be buried away inside, wouldn't you? Protected. Anyway, never mind. Most important part of a starship, and a window would be the most brittle and breakable thing. Even a transparent aluminum window you could put there. But yeah, I wrote a short story about Star Trek many years ago, and I did mention why they have view screens. In my opinion, because a window would be pretty pointless. All you can see through a window is exactly what's there, right outside. But what they're seeing on the view screen is what the sensors are showing them. Which is why they can see a ship that's like 20,000 kilometres away. That's always 20,000 kilometres, isn't it? There's an object 20,000 kilometres off the port bow, and they put it on the view screen. So that's what they do, put it on the view screen. If it were a window, you wouldn't be able to see it, would you? 20,000 bloody kilometres away. Anyway. Plus, if you're travelling through space, even, not particularly fast, if you're looking through a window, something's coming at you, it's gone before you know, innit? So windows are pretty pointless unless you're at a dead stop and something is there directly outside, which we sometimes see that through the windows. I think we saw in the episode The Defector, where that Romulan arrived. What's that? Imagine a tank with a big old window in front. Yes, exactly. The episode The Defector, we saw a ship outside, a Romulan shuttle outside, exploded. We didn't see that through the bridge window, we saw it through a regular window. So they did have uses, just not on the bridge. I think the only window on the bridge is above, in it. Above that circular hole. There's a window there, but it's, I don't think it's there for any reason other than effect. I don't know. Where were we? In 2009, though, J.J. Abrams debuted his vision of the Star Trek universe and his version of the Enterprise. His Enterprise had a bridge window because it was stupid, which everyone could just look out at in order to wave at the universe. Exactly. Because J.J. Abrams is an idiot. God, I hate them films. Bloody do. That got some fans debating whether it was a window all along. No, it wasn't. But as this Star Trek Picard episode proves, those fans were wrong. Yes, they were. The J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies exist in a totally separate universe known as the Kelvinverse. Unfortunately, in Star Trek Beyond, we see the USS Franklin, which were I can't remember it were an NX class, but not like the Enterprise. It were an older one, a Warp 4 ship, which was supposedly from the timeline, from the actual prime timeline before it changed, when Kirk were born, when Nero appeared with his ship, the Narada, and changed the timeline. But the Franklin was supposed to be from the proper prime timeline, the Enterprise timeline, and that had a bridge window. Hated it. Anyway, the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies exist in a totally separate universe known as the Kelvinverse and really have nothing to do with normal Star Trek canon. Yeah, no, they don't. So they can have their nonsense windows over there, and neither does Discovery either, in my opinion. That's set in the Kelvinverse. Over here in the real Star Trek universe, we have sensible view screens and occasionally used shutters. This isn't the first time a modern Star Trek series has tackled the view screen versus bridge window debate. Last year's Star Trek Lower Decks, hate that, took it on as well by showing us that the USS Cerritos has a solid piece of hull there. They demonstrated it by removing that piece of hull and activating a force field in the hull to create a window they could view through in an emergency. Oh, well, that's one good thing it did. There we go. Word 789 says, first movie, 2009, was a decent spin-off reboot movie. After that, it got silly. No, I didn't like it. The 2009 one, I didn't hate, but there were bits in it that really annoyed me. Quite a lot of bits in it that really annoyed me. But the story itself wasn't too bad. But the way it was made just got on my nerves. And the second one, Into Darkness, were bloody awful. I hate that film. I didn't mind Star Trek Beyond, but even then there were some bits in that did me head in. I hate the design of the Enterprise. It's awful. It's an ugly ship. It's an ugly ship. And that's Yorktown Starbase thing. What was that? Where did that come from? It was massive. That was like something from the year 10 million. Anyway. That episode of Lower Decks should have settled the debate. CBS has stated that Star Trek Lower Decks is canon, but since it's animated, some fans were unwilling to accept this as a canon explanation. Now we have that same explanation in live action too. The debate is over. It's a view screen, not a bridge window. Yes, it is. I mean, I was worried because I think I saw on Facebook or Twitter or somewhere, Doug Drexler, one of the geniuses behind the scenes, we're talking about bridge windows and saying he now accepts that they're a real thing. So, but they're not. They're not. Right, that's it. That's all my news. I don't think there's any more. Let's have another check. Just make sure there's nothing else that's popped up. So just refresh my sci-fi news feed. What's this? The Darksaber belongs to Palpatine according to new Mandalorian rules. What? Well, see, we're going to have a look at this now, aren't we? Unbelievable. This is from Screen Rant. I'm going to have to take this off there now and pop it. Hang on, where are we? Pop it in here. Here we go. I'll put it there. There we go. You see that? There we go. Right, here we go. The Darksaber. See, this is hot off the presses. The Darksaber belongs to Palpatine according to new Mandalorian rules. The new Darksaber rules revealed in The Mandalorian Season 3, it's not new rules, further confirm Emperor Palpatine's connection to the legendary Star Wars blade. And there's Bo-Katan Kryze brandishing the Darksaber. Katie Sackhoff is amazing. I'm assuming it's her, by the way, when we see her doing all this stuff, because Katie Sackhoff's quite an active person, isn't she? She's quite agile and lithe, she does like Iron Man marathons and stuff, doesn't she? And she's ace, and she looks amazingly, ooh. She looks amazing anyway. Even under all that foam, what they call it. What cosplayers use. That's what it is. It doesn't look like real armour, does it? It looks like it's made out of foam, doesn't it? It looks like a cosplayer. But she looks amazing even under all that. The way she moves. Anyway, and there's Palpatine. I suspect that is a hot toy of Palpatine. It looks very toyish, doesn't it? Anyway, this article contains spoilers for The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 6, the one that everybody hates and I quite enjoyed. Right, The Mandalorian's new rules about the Darksaber further confirms Emperor Palpatine's connection to the legendary weapon in the Star Wars canon. Have another drink of my cold coffee. I don't know what we got here. It's coming on here now. Sorry, just saw it. Yay, Warwick Davis. And that his daughter, Annabelle, and I don't know who that is. He looks like a mini-me of that comedian. I forgot his name. Me and Names. That Scottish comedian that we used to do Mock the News. Mock the Week, I mean. Harrison Davis. Oh, it must be his son. All the Davis family. Bless him. Anyway, he's a legend. I've got a photo with him when he was at Manchester. A few years ago. Right, anyway, let's go back to this. Right, thanks to animated series Star Wars The Clone Wars and a duel with his former apprentice Maul, Palpatine is indeed familiar with the legendary Mandalorian blade. To that end, the new technicalities regarding how the blade can change hands seem to suggest Palpatine himself had an even stronger claim to the iconic weapon than Din Djarin or Bo-Katan Kryze. Right. Yeah, if he's got a claim to it, yeah, fair enough, he could do. But he's not around, is he, in the Mandalorian universe? I know he's around, but he's not around, if you know what I mean. In The Mandalorian Season 3, Episode 6, Din Djarin freely gives the dark saber to Bo-Katan, even though the blade must be won in combat. However, Jaren clarifies that Bo-Katan defeated the cyborg spider creature that captured him on Mandalore, granting her a legitimate claim to the dark saber without having to challenge him for the weapon and the right to rule that comes with it, which is what I said all along, but nobody believed me. As such, this new rule points back to the Darksaber's past wielders and those who had claims as well, such as Palpatine following his duel with Maul. Maul's Darksaber duel with Palpatine explained, and there's a shot. You know what, I can't actually remember that. I watched the Clone Wars. Clone Wars. I'm sounding like Tony from Hack the Movies. Yeah, I watched Clone Wars, but I don't actually remember this. Or do I? I don't know. Anyway, never mind. During the Clone Wars, Maul challenged Death Watcher's Pre-Vizsla in a duel to the death, and the end result was Maul becoming the Darksaber's rightful new wielder. However, Maul's growing power caught the attention of Palpatine, who personally came to Mandalore, killing Savage Opress. Oh yeah, I do remember. Yes, I do remember that. And handily defeating Maul in combat. This implies that Palpatine had the right to claim the Darksaber for himself and rule Mandalore, though he inexplicably left the blade behind after he captured Maul. Well, he probably just didn't want it, did he? He didn't care, did he? He didn't care about, twee little Mandalorian legends or traditions. He had the galaxy to rule. Once Maul was freed... Once Maul was freed by his Mandalorian Shadow Collective warriors, they recovered the Darksaber and gave it back to him. The blade was then claimed years later by Sabine Wren and given to Bo-Katan, before it was taken again by the Empire's Moff Gideon. However, none of these subsequent wielders rightfully won the blade in combat, until Din Djarin defeated Gideon in The Mandalorian Season 2. And there's Katie holding the blade. And he's like, not even looking, look. It's like, oh, I don't want to see. It was mine, and now it isn't anymore. As a result, this means that Palpatine had the most legitimate claim to the Darksaber for decades in the established Star Wars canon. However, it's unknown whether Palpatine nullified his claim by not taking it on Mandalore after defeating Maul. As I said, he didn't want it, did he? He didn't care. He had an empire to run. Regardless, the new rules for the Darksaber, claiming that the defeat of a foe who bested the Darksaber's current wielder helps clarify things, making Palpatine's claim even stronger by having an outright duel with Maul. Remarkably, Palpatine is part of a select group of known Star Wars characters who actually earned a claim to the Darksaber through direct combat, joining Maul, Din Djarin, and presumably Pre-Vizsla himself, and obviously now Bo-Katan. New episodes of The Mandalorian stream Wednesdays on Disney+. So there we go. So, yes, he could have claimed it if he wanted to. He just didn't want it, did he? So you just screen rant. You're just writing articles for the sake of writing articles. Which they do. They seem to do a lot. Anyway, I have to remember to put a link for this in the description. I'll try and remember. Right, I'll move it to the end. There we go. Right, so we'll leave it there. I've done now. I've done talking, even though we've got more viewers now than I had when I bloody started. I had 0 viewers. Now I've got 3, and I'm just finishing. But there's Warwick Davis, look. So if you want to... I've put a link for this in the description as well, if you want to watch Warwick Davis. He's a legend, and I wish I could find my photo of me with him. Anyway, right, I'm going to leave it there now. So I've done... I'm going to go and eat an Easter egg now. I've got my Easter egg here waiting for me, look. So happy Easter. Happy Zombie Jesus Day. Hope you have a great rest of Easter and holiday tomorrow, Easter Monday. Is that my cat? Oh, Princess is here, look, to say hello, just as I'm going. Hello, Princess. Yes, I'm nearly done. You can have your chair back. She likes my chair. She's waiting for me to vacate it. Right, so we will leave it there. So thanks to Bill Barkley and Word789 for joining in the chat. It's cool. I like when people join in. So I'm going to leave it there. So thanks for watching. Wherever you are, look after each other. And until next time, I'll see thee.